know.
You're like, oh, I just have to. Do you play any more Civ today?
Oh, buddy, did I ever. I paid like 2 hours of it. I conquered
Nice.
another city.
Nice. Conquer those
Took for fucking ever. Because
fucking savages.
every shot took like 2 health. And it was like 79 defense. So I just withered it down. And then I think I like.
How many armies did you have? Just one?
No, I had like. By the end, because I was building them as they were destroying them. And by the end, I had 5 cannons.
Oh, nice.
And they weren't shooting the canyon. So I don't know if I found an exploit or if it glitched.
Oh, I think they can't, because if you have your cannons, because cannons can shoot from 2 tiles away, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Unless
if they have, are we?
Yeah.
We should just start a Civ 6 podcast.
Dude, we should definitely do like Outrage Factory Twitch or something like that.
Yeah, where we just game. Couple of gamer bros gaming.
Couple of gamer bros.
Just gamer bros gaming
like,
away.
On Twitch, I want to start a Twitch and just be like, put in the headline, ask me about conspiracies, but I don't want to do that because I don't want to get put on some Twitch list.
You know what you should do?
Or talk to crazy people about it.
Start a Civ 6 Twitch stream.
Yeah.
But while you're doing pick one civilization, and then while you're doing it, talk about all the like conspiracies from that civilization, or like shady history. I'd subscribe to that.
I could do Germany. I could do Barbarossa or whatever because the Illuminati started in Bavaria.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I didn't know they were.
You do.
The Germans just keep on giving us gifts.
Yeah.
Great culture.
England in Civ?
Yeah, there's English. There's two English rulers.
I haven't seen England. I've seen Australia for some reason. Just some like Poindexter being like, "Oh, you became a warmonger. We're denouncing you."
Hey, internet! Thanks for joining us for that preamble, and welcome to
the countdown of 2022.
It is this year has fucking just flown.
Countdown. This year has the COVID time thing where it takes forever and at the same time goes really fast.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it. COVID wrecked my perception of time because 2 weeks from now seems like a year from now, but 2 weeks or like a year ago seems like 2 weeks ago. It doesn't make sense.
Well, even like looking at this list of stories that you put together, I'm like, holy fuck, was that like this? That was this year?
Mm-hmm.
That was this. All of these things. There's things from July, and I'm like, that was this year?
Yeah. Like I want to pat myself on the back for doing research, but I basically just went and found a Wall Street Journal article, and they had a timeline of all the big stuff, and I like left all the boring stuff out, and I put a couple things for each month. But bonus, because everybody's like, why don't you do positive stuff on your podcast? I put one positive thing that happened in each month for the list.
Yeah, for you squares who want
environment nerds, I left all those out because I don't know
what
some of the annoying things about the environment. They're like, good news, they figured out how to make solar panels work at night, and I'm like, is that good news? Seems like they always should have, or I have to learn about how solar panels work at night because that doesn't sound like it would work. And then I looked at it and it just goes off the different range of temperature. So if your solar panels are hot and the night air is cold, somehow it makes electricity. And I was like, this is so boring, I shouldn't talk about it on the podcast. But then I talked about it on the podcast.
You lost me during that 2 minute preamble about it. Hey, I'm your co-host Derek Bolin.
I'm your other co-host Dale DeRuiter.
Do you want to get into, because it was a jam-packed year.
Let's get into it. And like Derek is a new father and I'm a father to be. And so we don't have as much time to just talk for hours like we used to. So this will most likely end up being broken into part 1, part 2. We'll get to June. And if we had just ransacked through it.
Which is definitely on brand for we're very succinct when we talk and we very rarely get distracted or go
Yeah.
on tangents. So we should be able to do. We should be able
We'll
to
be
do the whole.
fine.
Yeah, it'll be
Brother.
great.
Okay.
Well,
Starting off, and these are all in so I got them broken down into 12 months, and it's chronological through the month, so it's not like the biggest story that month is first. It's just whatever Wall Street had the dates on. Okay. So
I was
January
like,
2022.
so I was like, I thought you left a big one off here. I was like, well, January 6th was like a major news story, but that was January 6th, 2021. An entire year has passed since
Yes.
that Capitol thing.
And the January 6th committee doesn't pop up till June.
Didn't start until a year and a half later, which
there's a
goes to
little
show you
teaser.
if you ever want an argument for libertarianism, it's that the government took a year and a half to put a commission together to investigate this fucking thing. Like, come on.
Okay.
All right, January, Dale, what do we got?
Right away in January, Elizabeth Holmes of Theranos is convicted of fraud because her Wonder Miracle Theranos machine that's supposed to be able to test blood and be in like a box this big doesn't work, and it was all just like she used it like a Ponzi scheme, I want to say, where she just took money from people. And
well, yeah, she defrauded investors basically by giving them like fake blood results and use that to sign lucrative deals with, like, she had deals with like CVS and Target, I think, to do like be the official blood tester for them, and then
Walgreens.
Like major corporate sponsorships, and then like her machines never fucking did what they were. Did you watch the what was it, Netflix series or something where it's got
that sounds boring.
The girl that it's like she talks with a very distracting accent, because
that's how she got busted, was because all the people she went to college with are like, why is she talking like that? That's not how she talked in college. And she talked like this. She was like a woman, but she like lowered her voice, I guess, so people would take her. I don't know why. Maybe the only reason she would talk like that is for sexist reasons, because maybe people would take her more seriously, she thought, if she talked lower, or she was trying to get sympathy points for appearing on like the spectrum.
Oh yeah, I never even thought of that. I mean, luckily, like for Dale and I, we both have deep voices, so people respect us, and we're also deeply autistic, so we get sympathy points for that.
Derek, we don't say that anymore. Well, 2022, we say on the spectrum.
We're on the spectrum of autism.
As unoffensive as it is ambiguous.
It's the autism spectrum.
Yeah.
That we're on.
Next, what happened in January? Microsoft agreed to buy Activision Blizzard, and it still hasn't gone through. And I just Googled it while Derek was talking, and I was ignoring him, but I Googled it to see where this process is at, and it hasn't gone through. And the deal is $68.7 billion, which is
billion.
Muskie paid for Twitter. But other video games companies are trying to sue to stop the merger to go through, because they're saying
like antitrust,
blah, 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 antitrust, blah, 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 monopoly.
What? No, because there's so many other video game, like, okay, Activision Blizzard, Warcraft is their big one, and like League of Legends, right?
Call of Duty.
Oh, is that Activision too?
Yeah, that's Activision.
Call of Duty. What else?
EA.
No, EA is like horny to get acquired by someone.
Wait, doesn't EA own? Wait,
did EA? Maybe EA owned Activision?
No, EA is like the other one that owns a whole bunch of things. I thought EA owned Blizzard.
Activision EA is trying to be acquired by someone, because.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, like EA.
I thought they were the ones who acquired everyone.
EA has been so horny to be acquired because I think, well, no, yeah, but they want to be. So they were like the gaming company that acquired everyone, but now with this like Microsoft buying Activision, EA wants to get acquired by like Apple or Amazon or like one of the like tech giants, because I think EA leadership and shareholders see that $60 billion and they would like some of that money as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Who wouldn't?
And then I don't think that wouldn't make all Activision games exclusive on Microsoft. They probably had to, that would make it actually antitrust. So they probably had to sign some deal that they wouldn't.
Like if they said they
that.
were only you could only play the games on Microsoft products.
Yeah, on Xbox. Like you couldn't play fucking Call of Duty on PlayStation.
Is Windows
a problem?
Is Windows still a thing? Microsoft Windows? Is that like an operating system? Does that still exist?
Yeah. Yeah, because my computer keeps telling me to update to Windows 11.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, I don't want to. And my old computer, my old desktop is still on Windows 11 or 7, which is wild. They're like, every time I start up that computer, this note comes up. It's like, why are you using this? You're going to get hacked by the lowest level pirates. And I'm like, because this computer is over a dozen years old. And
attention, hackers listening to this podcast. Dale's computer is extremely vulnerable right now. So go in there and
my old computer, not my nice fancy podcast computer.
Look at all his.
So basically, you'll just get all my old pictures and designs.
His old nudes.
Because the only reason I have that desktop is it's what I have the creative suite for Adobe on, since they switched it to pay by monthly, and it's expensive as fudge.
Yeah, nudes.
Okay, and now we got to work on our smoothness. What else happened in January? Well, Omicron. That's right. Omicron didn't show up till January this year.
What?
Or it didn't become super popular. And yeah, so before that, the big bad was Delta. And well, Delta was like the first major variant, and it pushed out the OG corona. There was variants before Delta, but Delta was the first one that became more transferable and less deadly than original Omicron or original COVID. And then Omicron came out and was even more spreadable and lesser of an evil.
I'm just looking here.
It might have come out before them, but like January is when it like.
Yeah, it started in November, but it didn't get like super widespread. I was like, shortly after Omicron. So I guess we still had lockdowns like this time last year.
Yeah.
Not lockdowns, but there were still like COVID.
Yeah, that was when we were still wearing masks. We were still like doing, I don't think we're doing physical separations or whatever. But yeah, because like a year and a half ago
physical separation.
Whatever, physical distancing. A year and a half ago in July was when they took off the mask mandate for a little bit. And then we got an episode ban because I said masks are done, don't wear them. And then
all right.
The YouTube bots were like, you can't say that.
Tech censorship is rooting America, and to a lesser extent Canada. These tech giants can just decide what they want people to say on the platforms that they provide.
Urged to censor people by weekly FBI meetings, which nobody seems to care about.
Yeah, that one is like, the government shouldn't fucking, like, I don't think the government should be able to meddle in it at all.
Oh, do you want to hear my new theory of what I think?
Do I?
We weren't going to talk about this, but it wasn't going to come up. But Twitter Files specifically isn't on there. We have like the Twitter buying, whatever. But I think somehow Elon Musk is going to rope Twitter into being a utility, thus sponsored by the government for like open whatever. So like the government, somehow Elon Musk is going to make it so the government gives him money to operate Twitter a certain way. And then thus it becomes the same business model as all of his other businesses that are just basically funded by the government.
Yeah, him taking government handouts to like develop things to save the world.
Like grants and operating procedures.
Yeah, I could 100% see that. I don't think it's like, I don't know. People are getting like all bent out of shape over it, and which I get. Like, it's fucking deeply icky that the government is allowed to police what is said on a like international public platform.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the like realist in me says like that's just
It's
how it is,
basically
man.
just reassuring what we all thought the entire time.
Yeah, it's always going to be like there's always going to be government meddling in like mass media or government meddling in, you know, tech platforms like this. Like that's just a thing that's going to exist. And if you want to
They would be dumb not to.
If you want to get away from that, you're going to have to find like underground platforms that nobody uses where you could like say whatever the fuck you want, but you lose your audience. And I think that's just like the government needs to have their sticky little fingers. The government needs to have their sticky little fingers and all that shit because it could be used as an extremely powerful tool against them otherwise.
Yeah, to protect us from ourselves, which I mean, I would argue against, but obviously with how much people hate Twitter but still go on there, we definitely need to be protected from ourselves. Okay, good news in January. The worldwide humpback population rose to 80,000 humpback whales, down from at the lowest point in the 80s from over commercial fishing from certain countries. I don't want to say because apparently it's racist to point out which countries killed the most humpback whales and were dirtbags. But anyways, in the 80s, humpback whale population was down to 10,000 and now it's back up to 80K. So that's good news for January 2022.
Yeah, the world humpback population exploded when I mounted your mother.
Oh wait, that's offensive, Derek. I'm very offended.
I was just thinking of a your mom joke.
That was good. That was good. I get it. My mom's a whale. It's okay. She doesn't listen to this. Your mom does. I doubt.
No.
Your mom probably punched out at like episode.
Yeah, I don't think my mom listens anymore. So thankful, thankful for that.
So that's January 2022.
Wait, wasn't there one other? What was the other good news on there? Oh, humpback whales. Oh, and the banning
Canada,
conversion therapy.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot.
Go on.
There's two in the first month.
Yeah, Dale didn't consider that good news because he's a bigot.
No, I didn't consider that good news because I thought it already was illegal. I wasn't like, oh, they made conversion therapy illegal, this thing that should have been illegal the whole time. So if you don't know what conversion therapy is, for one, I'm jealous of you. And two, it's basically when you send gay people to homosexual people to a church camp or something thereof, and they basically
do the like Clockwork Orange thing,
Ultra them
where they like
gay?
They pry their eyes open and make them watch heterosexual people having sex until they like
machine guns or bake cakes,
yeah,
depending on which heterosexuality they want you to be.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to February. The boxes at Maralago, which this is pretty vague because that was a while ago, but this was just basically when they're like, Trump took a bunch of boxes to Mar-a-Lago and he never returned them.
When Trump removed sensitive and classified information from the White House, and
that he left in January, right?
Inexplicably,
he left a year before.
He left in
he left January 2021, right?
No, he left in 2022. The Biden presidency started in 2022, I think. It's because it's every 4 years, and it's on even numbered years. So the election.
No, because the election was 2020, and so the election happened in November 2020. So he took over January 2021, and that's why Jan 6th.
Oh no, yeah, you're right.
January 21.
Biden's tenure happened on January 20th, 2021.
Another example of how the U.S. government is very unorganized and bad at their job was they're like, hey, 13 months ago, Trump just walked off with all these boxes and it was probably sensitive content. And the worst part about this isn't when the investigation into the boxes started. This is just when they're like, oh, Trump took some boxes. They didn't start the investigation into what was in those boxes for another couple months. They're
Well, how
like,
was it? Wasn't it like someone just like discovered like a room, as like Trump had labeled the room like "Do not enter, secret boxes" or something. Someone saw it and was like, maybe we should look into that.
Don's stuff don't touch.
Donnie's stuff.
And then
Donald boxes.
do you want to talk about this more? Or are we moving on? Dude, we're already at a half hour in, and
Holy
we're
shit.
in the second month.
We're on the first story of February. Well, some of these we could just skip.
Yeah, so this one I didn't know happened. Remington paid Sandy Hook victims $73 million. I was unaware this happened, but I probably knew about it at the news at the time. But I mean, yeah, they did. The baby formula recall happened. So there was this huge run on baby formula. Sorry, go ahead.
That was one that fucking lasted forever, and it was because there was a recall that happened, and one of the like major baby formula producers in the United States was basically like shut down indefinitely. And then
what was it, like carcinogens in it or something?
I don't even know why, or like
let me just quickly,
like botulism or something.
Baby
and then
recall.
And then the US has like really strict import guidelines on
bacterial infections.
Yeah.
From powdered infant formula.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, it was like impossible to fucking find for a while. And now it's the kind of the same thing with children's Tylenol in Canada. I don't know that like our plant
still going on?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe not anymore. I haven't looked. We had Kate's family shipping us a bunch from the
good high test stuff.
Yeah, the stuff that's packed full of opiates. They're like, here, have some baby heroin.
And what else happened in February? Some country invaded some other country that is turned into a dog whistle between right and left, and is okay. Can we talk about this without like indenturing ourselves to the right or left? Because on one hand, NATO pushed too far east, and like people like the rights saying that NATO pushed too far east, so Putin launched a thing. And then there's this other argument that the left wanted to be warmongers, so it's like a proxy war and all this stuff. We don't have enough time to get into this, right?
I don't want to get that. My whole take on it is that like I think countries have the right to exist without other countries invading them, and when that happens, those countries should be stood up to. Like I don't get all the fucking NATO shit, because it's not like the Ukraine wasn't expanding their borders. Like it's not like the Ukraine was growing. It's not like an Israel-Palestine situation where you like watch the map over time and Israel just gets bigger and bigger and Palestine gets smaller and smaller. Like Ukraine stayed the same size, Russia stayed the same size. So
the problem was that NATO they were flirting with letting Ukraine join NATO, and then they would legally be allowed to put like nuclear missiles in Ukraine right on Russia's border.
Yeah, fucking tough shit. That's diplomacy, motherfuckers. Like,
yes,
like you want to a country wants to join an alliance and then allow members of that alliance to put weapons in it. Like, we gonna say that the fucking I can understand why Russia like shit their pants over the whole thing, but like, fucking
dude, I like conspiracy wise, this is something I haven't looked into, but have you ever heard of Khazaria?
No.
It's this like weird thing that for 300 years it was the biggest empire in the world, and it was based in where Ukraine and what's that area called? The area that Ukraine's in that Russia wants starts with a C. What's that area called?
I just know like the Crimea.
Yeah, the Crimea. They were basically based in the Crimea, and there's this like weird thing. It like pops up every once in a while because it's like a love child of, or not a love child. It's like this like thing that really deep conspiracy theorists like to bring up, because like Khazaria was like an empire that rose and fell in like under 1,000 years, and then some people say it never fell and it's like running the world secretly and stuff. And then so this whole Russia Ukraine thing, a lot of people, not a lot of people, but some deep conspiracy theories are saying that it's just Russia trying to retake the Crimean area so that they could get the Khazarian empire going again, which, I mean, I'm not saying that's a thing. It's just one of those things you hear and you're like, well, that sounds like a lot of research that I don't feel like doing right
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to do. One more thing I will say on this is like, shout out to everyone who turned their profile pictures blue and yellow and made sure they added I stand with Ukraine labels to their profile pics on Facebook, because this conflict is absolutely still not going on fucking 10 months later with thousands of people die. You did it. You solved it.
And now the good news from February. Canadian doctors can now prescribe year-long passes to national parks. On one hand, I was like, this is good. And on the other hand, I was like, wait, people don't know that going into nature makes them feel better until a doctor tells them to, which is obviously true. And if there are people like that, they should be told to go into nature to make themselves feel better. Hey, by the way, if you feel depressed, go look at trees. It makes you feel better.
Yeah, literally just go for a walk outside. It'll like, it won't cure, like, if we're talking like just like medical depression.
Yeah,
but
like if you have Elizabeth Holmes stuff, it's not going to cure that, but it'll make you feel a bit better.
It will. Well, they say that's like, yeah, that's like one of the first things you're supposed to do if you're like feeling depressed is like get outside, get some activity, get out of your fucking, look away from your phone, get off Twitter. Why?
Have you been listening to Joe Rogan, Derek? Are you going to tell me I should eat properly and do exercise next too?
No.
Yeah, that's what he says. He's like, oh, I also wanted to bring this up because it's super annoying thing that you've said a couple times that people keep telling me on Reddit when I'm trolling. They go go outside and touch grass.
Touch grass. Yeah. It's great.
Yeah. So everybody just go touch grass.
Go touch grass. No, Joe Rogan's advice is number one, do some nootropics, and then number two, if those don't cure your depression, buy some man milk or whatever the fuck whatever supplements he sells on his fucking dumb website. And then third, go nature exercise. Which, bro, let's get back into like gym bros this year, 2023.
Oh yeah, dude, I haven't gone to the gym in months, and I'm probably should.
Kate and I are going to they're opening like a brand spanking new YMCA that we're going to go tour, and you can get like founding member fees. This is probably a conversation that we could best have.
Yeah, I don't think
off the podcast.
Yeah.
Off the podcast, we're trying to keep tight.
Yeah. Oh, the other good news for February is the Monarch butterflies that went through California in 2020 were only 2,000, and the world freaked out and they're like, there's no Monarch butterflies. This is going to collapse the whole world. And then everybody was doing like that guy where he's like, what about the bees? But they're like, what about the butterflies? But last year there was 250,000 Monarch butterflies. So whatever problem was killing the butterflies, we solved it. The population's back up. The world is beautiful again.
We just made the butterflies under threats of violence.
Wow,
you looked way too excited in that.
Butterfly sex.
I like how both of the good newses you provided before have nothing to do with human beings. It's like, oh, animal species are thriving because humans are dog shit and can't do anything properly. So
yeah,
human
beings need to be told to go outside. That's where humans are right now.
Good news, the butterflies and humpback whales are going to band together and fuck us up in 2023.
Oh my God, could you imagine if you had butterflies or humpback whales with giant butterfly wings and they flew through the air?
Or just
that'd be amazing.
Butterflies like lifting a humpback whale out of the sea and like dropping it on cities just to like dive bombing people.
Nature's atomic bomb is just dropping whales on cities. Oh man, we should write a screenplay.
Yeah, that added to the list.
It's basically just a plot to support why that would happen. March, moving right along here, quick and tidy. Expensive gas. So all the shit, why can't I think of that word? The sanctions that the US put on Russia for invading Ukraine came back and made gas prices expensive, and people put little stickers of Biden that said, I did this on gas stations, and they felt really good about themselves.
Hold on. So
Yeah.
I feel like March was kind of the start of it. And then it was so it was gas prices because like everyone was spooked about Russia's output. And that rolled into gas prices. Well, just because inflation, gas prices got to be high. Even though like the supply issue was basically like over and done with in March when everyone was like, oh, we're gonna keep exporting oil from Russia. But gas prices stayed fucking crazy. Even now, they're higher than they were. I'm trying to see what
well, right now they're like $1.60 here in Vancouver, which has
it's $1.60, which is higher than it was.
Was it? I remember it being around 145 before the whole thing happened, but it went over $2 for the first time that I remember.
In March it crossed $2.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was like crazy fucking high. And then they just kept finding excuses to like, it's like the Overton window, but for gas prices, where it's just like, it was $2 for a while, and now you'll be happy with it being $1.80 a liter. To our American friends, that's like what, four
times $1.80.
$7 a gallon, $7.20 a gallon. But yeah, they're just like, it's like gas is still more expensive than it probably was this time last year, and everyone's just happy it's not over $2 anymore.
Next, Purdue Pharma was billed $6 billion for their hands in the opioid crisis in the States.
Single-handedly causing the opioid crisis in the States. Yeah. Fuck them. Yeah. Fuck them forever.
Jerks. That was back when drug companies were still bad, unlike now when they're good and the stuff they give us is awesome. March also saw companies like Coca-Cola and McDonald's pulling out of Russia.
Which again, congratulations.
Yeah.
You solved the Russian-Ukraine conflict. And wait, have they? I would guarantee McDonald's, Russia. Have they just like quietly opened back up?
No, Russia made their own McDonald's, didn't they? Like they made like a Russian version of it. I don't know if that lasted, but that's what they had done.
The reopening of fast food stores under Russian ownership and with a new logo. So they basically just like branded it.
Was it still McDonald's? Like fed like they got McDonald's burgers and patties and stuff and then just said it wasn't McDonald's?
It's oh, never mind. After the American fast food giant pulled out this spring to protest President Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine, a Siberian oil mogul bought its 840 Russian stores because almost all the ingredients came from inside the country. He said the restaurants could keep on serving much of the same food.
Oh, there you go.
This guy, so it is Russian owned. McDonald's hasn't opened any new locations. So
what's it called now? McDonald's?
McDonald's. With a K. MK Donald's.
And the backwards are.
Yeah.
I don't know why
there's no
McRonald's. The backwards are. Next, probably the first big Outrage factory brand story happened in March last year, and that was when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars. And then everybody weighed in, and there was a lot of people that were okay with violence if they thought it was somebody shouldn't have shot their mouth off, apparently.
Yeah. If somebody makes a joke and it offends you, you're allowed to punch them in the face. That's legal now.
Or slap them like a wiener.
I'd like to take this opportunity to remind you that I was totally fucking wrong about Netflix going forward and making that Will Smith movie. And
You still have to watch Hitch with me.
And now I have to watch Hitch with you. Yes.
Yes.
You won this one, Deruder.
Let's just stop the podcast a minute so we could just all.
We're now going to do a Twitch live live
soak
stream.
it in. We should do a Twitch live stream of us playing Civ and watching Hitch at the same time.
Yeah,
and
bro.
Trying to like pay attention to both.
You can actually do a what is it? I did this thing the other day. I was watching a Twitch stream and it was these guys watching this this Indian movie. And like what you like Bollywood movie, but like an action movie. It was actually a fucking dope movie.
Yeah, dude, those have some of those have really good action sequences.
Yeah, like super good. But they were watching it on their Twitch stream, but you could also like log into this platform and like chat in the platform while they were
cool.
like watch it at the same time as them. So if any of our listeners would like to watch Hitch with Dale and I, we'll plan something and share links somewhere.
Yeah.
Probably on social media.
On the Gmail, outragefactpod@gmail.com. When I figure out how to do it, I'll post it in our Facebook page and I'll tweet about it.
Yeah.
And the good news from March is there was an extensive poll, and it turns out the large majority of parents trust librarians and are against book banning, contrary to what the right would have you believe.
Yeah, that's also, it's concerning that has to be our good news. I would say that also the other good news from March was when
Will
everyone
Smith slapped Chris Rock.
was when everyone changed their profile pictures to Ukrainian flags, and we like immediately stopped Russia's invasion of the Ukraine.
Okay, now on to April. We're moving right along. We've gone through 3 in 46 minutes. I think we're doing all right. What do you think? You think we'll finish 12 in an hour?
I think it's great when people change their profile pictures on social media. Yeah, I think we can. Let's just keep on. No,
dude, how
there's
many
no
people
way.
Still are rocking the whole "I stand with Ukraine" thing.
Very few.
There's got to be a bunch. There's got to be some.
No, you think so? Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna go. I stand with Ukraine on Twitter. Let's see what we got. People. I don't know.
There's got to be a bunch. You could still. Can you get the? Is there like a official profile picture background to do that?
I don't know. Not many of the people have the profile pictures anymore. Oh no, there's this one. But a lot of people still have it in their username. I stand with Ukraine. So all these people still standing with Ukraine. It was like those people these are the same people who basically had like hashtag triple vaxxed, hashtag mask,
or the pictures
of
the like dink dink dink.
The syringe, yeah. For like probably right up until the Ukraine invasion happened, and then they were like, oh shit, another update from my username.
Dude, there's still people tweeting that they're getting their boosters and stuff. It's like nobody cares anymore.
Yeah, that was I was gonna say, like, that was my favorite story or like trend in 2022, which was like COVID generally like dying out and fading from consciousness, save for the people who live in China, where it's currently like just fucking up the entire population. Yeah. And then the people who like during COVID were able to like use their posturing about masks or vaccines or whatever else to earn like farm internet likes that like fired up.
Are you saying that people are performative on social media?
I mean, I would never suggest such a thing, but there were these there were people who did that, and then they saw that they were getting so many likes and like comments on their tweets, and it like fed that addiction center in their brain. So when COVID started to fade from the consciousness. They just had no fucking idea how to pivot. So they're still out there. Like you see people being like, "Wow, COVID case, I do this to keep my 90-year-old grandmother safe." And it's like, dude, nobody fucking cares. Like,
yeah,
nobody
that's
cares
awesome when people, like you said, don't know how to pivot and they just out themselves as being totally performative because nobody cares anymore. People
Yeah.
be like, "I'm boosted," and everyone's like, "You're still tweeting about that?"
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like I just got a shot earlier in the year. I didn't even fucking tweet about it. I didn't post my vaccination card. We're all just beyond that now. This
Yeah.
is just life. We're just living.
Okay. Just
We're
living.
we're just over here living, man.
Just
2023 motto.
living.
Okay, what else?
On to April. Supply
Okay.
chain bullshit. This is basically when I guess the supply chain was like, yeah, remember how COVID shut down all these sites and then they couldn't, then like COVID lockdowns and sanctions or whatever all ended. And then like production and online sales started ramping up. And then the supply chain was like, yeah, we can't handle this because we're understaffed and all these myriad of excuses of why you couldn't get stuff from one place to another.
Yeah.
That all came to a head in April. Ads on Netflix said that they were considering having a cheaper um membership fee if they had ads, and then basically everybody said we're not having Netflix anymore if they have ads, and they didn't realize that it was just Netflix floating it out there.
They did Netflix apparently recently, because like so many people just share Netflix logins, right? Like
yeah.
you and I could have been doing this the entire time. But instead we maintain our own separate logins because
Yeah, I had my brothers for a long time, and then I was like, I'll just get my own.
yeah,
Because
apparently
it's like,
they're finally they've like found a way to end that practice. So
yeah.
that will be going live shortly if it hasn't already.
So yeah, what they're saying. Oh, and little pro tip to everyone out there, because one of the ways around it was you got the higher level membership to get more devices available. Now that you can't share logins, remember to take down your device count so you can actually have a cheaper membership.
Uh-oh.
In the first quarter of 2022, and that was announced in April. And then related thing to do with that, Musk also announced in April that he would be buying Twitter, to which at first Twitter was like, no, you fucking aren't. And they're like, you can't do this. We don't want to sell and all this stuff. And then eventually Jack Dorsey was like, we've been bleeding money this whole time. You can
Yeah, he was like, oh, a $60 billion opportunity to cash out. Fuck yes, I will take that.
Was it 60 at first?
Or 40.
It ended up being 44. Was that the first offer?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that is what they landed on.
It's funny because Elon Musk was saying that he's offered to buy it, and then he pulled back. He's like, you guys have too many bots on Twitter. I don't want to buy it. And then Twitter's like, you offered, now you have to. And then Elon was like, show me the bots. And then they didn't. And then they went back and forth, and like, I don't know why eventually, but eventually they sold in a couple months after this.
They did. Tesla stock is like completely shitting the bed lately.
Yeah, whatever.
I
don't know why. Tesla's the same as it's always been. They ramped up production more than ever, so that's probably why. And also, Elon said he was going to start selling them cheaper.
I think Elon's starting to lose consumer confidence a little with his Twitter.
I don't know how he had consumer confidence this long. Like, why was everybody like, yeah, this guy can do 5 different major all-time consuming companies? Like, he could do SpaceX, Boring, Tesla, and Twitter all at the same time. And I love how Twitter was the one that people got upset about. They're like, the one that isn't physical things that he's producing and it's just ones and zeros on a computer, that's the one that's going to crash him. It's not like building tunnels underneath LA or sending rocket ships into space or giving everybody electric cars. Everyone's like, yeah, he can do all that shit, no problem. And then it's like, well, I don't know if he can run Twitter efficiently.
Well, because it was
That
like
seems like hard to do.
those things he generally had some success at, or when he had failures, they weren't quite so apparent. But then, like, here's my theory on why Elon Musk bought Twitter. Elon Musk bought Twitter because social media has punched holes in our brains. And Elon Musk wanted the literal embodiment of owning the libs, in that he would buy the platform that they communicated on and just like show everyone up and be like, this is a giant fuck you. The problem with that is that it is not a sound business decision at all to buy a platform
No.
that is hemorrhaging money and then make a bunch of bizarre, extremely public choices for the platform that don't make sense and make it less profitable, not more profitable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think all of that combined, and the people who had historically invested in Elon's other
Yeah.
businesses were like, number one, what the fuck is this guy doing? And number two, this guy seems very distracted with this thing over here. Is he paying enough attention to the established businesses he has? Like,
Yeah, like,
that's
is him using money from Tesla to fund his
a fuck
endeavors
ton of
at
money.
Twitter?
A
Is that some
large
sort of
amount.
fraud? Like, because Tesla's still publicly traded, so it's kind of like consumer fraud where he's taken and he took staff from Tesla and brought it over to Twitter. But like I said before, when Elon is just doing whatever to make it so that the government funds Twitter somehow, this all like it seems like his like policy changes that were disastrous were almost too like magnificently exact in how disastrous they were. Like you couldn't make a bigger mistake on purpose type of deal.
Yeah.
So it almost seems like in some bizarre way he's showing how Twitter shouldn't be controlled by one person and should have a governing body step in to treat it like a utility and make sure there's like government sort of like restrictions and bureaucracy on it type
Yes.
of deal. So like that's why I initially had that thought, was because it's like all these mistakes he made, like making it so you couldn't make fun of Elon or you got banned or you couldn't post links to other social media websites or you would get like blocked. He took those all back, but at the time you're like, it seems like the absolute worst thing to do while you're under a microscope.
Yes. 100%. And I think it's definitely showing up on the balance sheet for Tesla right now.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to have to make this a two-parter.
Oh yeah, dude. We're still yeah, dude. No, there's no doubt. I know how much we like to talk. I don't want to be here till 9
Why?
p.m.
Why do we enjoy? We spent fucking 10 hours together yesterday. Why couldn't we have just
We
talked
did.
all our shit and then we could have just been like, here are the bullet points. This is stuff that happened this year. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. Good news for April is another non-human one. It's the world's largest wildlife overpass will be built in California. It's 210 feet long and 165 feet wide, and it is meant to get wildlife over a 10-lane highway. And it has an acre on each side of the overpass that has natural plants so that the animals feel comfortable while 10 rows of cars go zooming by, wrecking their sleep.
Dope.
Yeah.
The
Okay, now
world's biggest wildlife bridge comes to life. Dangerous 10 lanes. Oh, good for them. Wait, so how do these, I'm just looking at a drawing here. How do these wildlife overpasses prevent animals from still ending up on the road if they really want to? They put like
they go
fences
over.
up?
Yeah, there's fences around them. Like they put fences along the side of the highway, and then they, I don't know, animals eventually find the overpass and go over, because you can't really just fence off the whole highway if there's nowhere for the animals to go over. So this stops animals from going across the highway willy-nilly wherever they want, and they somehow know where the overpass is and they go turn it in. I guess they like smell it. Like they probably don't know where it is eventually and just kind of follow the fence like the tiger at the petting zoo that rubs its side on the fence so much it rubs the hair off. They probably do that till they find the opening. And then from that point on, they can smell on the fence the tiger hair to the opening. I mean, I'm not an animal scientist, but that'd be my guess.
I'm really gonna say that are we gonna take the agency away from the animals if they decide they want to get struck by vehicles or cross the road without using the overpass? Like, is it our right to impose our will on the animals?
Yeah.
Or should we just let them?
Yeah, like have animal free reach rights
Yeah.
where there's like the overpass, but you can still try to run across 10 lanes and get smushed if you want to.
Yeah.
You figure they could just raise the highway and the animals could go underneath. But I'm also
Like
not
an
a
animal
highway
tunnel?
scientist. Yeah.
I think they're called engineers.
Are you sure?
No.
All right. So now we're into May. This first one I just put in there because not fucking much happened in May, but
yeah, this looks like a very boring month. This one was dope. The good news thing.
Yeah. So SoftBank reports loss of 13.3 billion in the prior year, which is a big deal in financial sectors. And since I did get these from the Wall Street Journal, that's why it's in there with such prominency. And yeah, there's one other thing. Oh, Biden also signed a bill making federal judges and whatever official workers and stuff report their financial holdings in a more timely manner so that they can somehow still allow them to insider trade, which they never stop them from doing. I don't know. But the good news is there was a medical breakthrough where they discovered the blood marker for babies that puts them at a higher risk for SIDS.
Fuck yeah, they did.
Which, since I'm going to be a soon to be dad, this is very important to me. And it's one of those things where you're like, oh, humans can still do nice things. We're not all trash bags just making fun of each other on Twitter.
Yeah. Or we can figure shit out and make scientific advancements that stop babies from dying.
All right.
Good for us.
June. And yeah, we're stopping after June.
Okay.
We're doing 6 months in 2 different pieces.
Okay.
So I was just looking at something. I feel like I've been talking this whole episode.
Yeah.
Do you want to read June?
It's awesome. Do I ever?
Do you want me to read it?
No, I'll fucking do it. Sheryl Sandberg.
We should have been switching back and forth. I've been hogging.
We should have. We never really discussed that before. Okay, so going into part 2, now we will know that Dale and I will trade off months, and it won't just be Dale reading and me reacting and occasionally speaking over him. Yeah.
It'll be me reacting and trying to speak over Derek, but
so Sheryl Sandberg stepped down as the CEO of the embattled Meta, formerly known as Facebook.
That's what's his face's wife, right?
Sure. Who?
Mark Zuckerberg?
No.
Oh.
What? No, Sheryl Sandberg and
that would have been Sheryl Zuckerberg, right? I don't know why I thought of that. I was like, it's because like I saw Sheryl Sandberg, I was like Andy Sandberg's wife. I was like, no.
Sheryl Sandberg was the CEO through like most of Facebook's
I want to see a picture of her.
Explosive growth.
Oh, she looks like she had a nose job because her nose doesn't really match her face. But I'm not judging her on that. Everybody is open and totally able to have nose jobs if they want.
It's possible. Yeah.
And make it so that their nose doesn't match.
We don't judge. You whatever you want to fucking look like that.
Yeah, especially if you're rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're poor, you don't get to look like what you want to look like. You just have to look like an ugly person who is also poor. So then the cards are doubly stacked against you. But if you're rich, you can look however you want. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful and amazing. Wasn't there?
Oh, she didn't disclose the reason in this.
Well, I'm
being the
sure
first article.
she just got sick of like there was a bunch of shit that went down with remember the Cambridge Analytica thing?
Oh shit! That wasn't this year. That had to be like
No,
5 years ago.
that was many years ago. That was
Yeah.
when was that? That was the election that Trump was elected.
Oh,
Uh,
okay,
but
2016.
but she was basically like, because that happened under her watch, she was
Oh
held
yeah.
accountable for that. And then I don't know, haven't there been some other Facebook scandals lately?
Oh, there's been a ton.
Yeah.
I don't know about lately, but the company did all. Oh, this was probably when the company lost a chunk of money because they've been this year they 2000 or 2022 as compared to 2021 they lost 70% of their market share
Yeah.
because they keep dumping money into this like virtual reality thing that
Oh yeah, the
nobody
fucking
wants to
stupid
do.
thing. That's full on Zuckerberg's fault though. Like that is
Yeah,
Zuckerberg's little fucking what the fuck is it even called? It was the
passion
Oculus
project.
before, right? But no, what's the actual fucking VR thing?
Isn't it just called Meta Universe or whatever?
The metaverse, yeah.
Oh yeah, Metaverse.
Which is just fucking and like nobody's using it, and the only people who use Facebook are boomers, and nobody really. So Facebook has less data to sell to foreign governments and bad actors, which hurts Facebook's shareholders. So I can see why
Yeah.
she stepped down.
Hmm.
Checks out. Moving right along, the January 6th committee started
Yeah, we already
again.
talked about that
A full
bit.
18 months. A full 18 months after the fucking. So wait, this is when the investigative committee started.
Yeah. This was when they're like, "Oh, we better look into this and start watching the videos."
But
And
all throughout, like the last, like people had already been like facing charges and getting tried. Like that had happened before
yeah,
this.
I think this was the committee that started to see if Trump was to blame
Was
or
to
something, or
wait,
I don't know.
have they released anything yet?
Yeah, I think so.
Did the
Didn't they
January?
release charges? Didn't the Jan 6 committee release charges against people? I think this
Oh
was
wait.
when they're what?
Oh, House January 6th committee's final report 5 days ago came out. Hey,
Damn, that
congrats.
is timely. Why is everything coming out in December? Like,
January 6th committee's final report finds Trump was central cause of attack on U.S. Capitol and engaged in a multi-part conspiracy to overturn the 2020 election.
that's not gonna help his reelection.
Oh, I said it
Wait,
was. I don't think he has any reelection hopes now with DeSantis coming up all hot and heavy in the Republican Party. I don't think Trump's gonna.
couldn't this like January 6th committee stuff, wouldn't that make it illegal for him to run again? Like,
Only
is it
no.
what is it? Is it like if you get face federal charges, you can't run again?
Isn't it just if you're convicted?
Yeah, I don't know. So if
Yeah,
he gets convicted of something, because you
yeah.
figure conspiracy against election fraud or whatever, or conspiracy and election fraud would pretty much make it illegal for you to run as president.
I mean, yeah. Trump. What's in this article? Trump is facing. Wait. The massive damning report comes as Trump is running again for the presidency and also facing multiple federal investigations, including probes of his role in the insurrection and the presence of classified documents at his Florida estate. Also, he was just found guilty of tax evasion in New York State, I want to
That comes
say.
up later in this, but
Oh, does
yeah,
it? Part
he
two.
his
Tune in for more.
it wasn't Trump himself, it was the Trump organization was found guilty of tax fraud and stuff because they were paying their employees with like hotel stays and car leases and stuff and not reporting that correctly.
Did you see there was Trump's tax returns were published as part of that, and
Mhm.
it's basically like I don't know if it was Trump himself or the Trump Foundation's tax returns or like the Trump business tax returns, but it's like loss, 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 and then like the years of his presidency, it's like fucking like $240 million in profit,
Yeah.
and then loss. So
Yeah.
you're like, maybe, I'm just putting it
Mhm.
out there, maybe with all the federal charges and the tax charges and the criminal charges and the probes and the investigations and the like explosion of profit during the years he was president, maybe we can say the guy wasn't the least corrupt president the United States has ever had.
Uh,
Maybe we can say that.
I think it would be awesome if he didn't run, because that would also mean that Joe Biden wouldn't be able to run, because if like DeSantis comes up and is the Republican primary, there's no way they could put
No.
like Joe, I'm not Trump, Biden
Yeah.
as his like,
Here, we're gonna trot out this walking corpse
yeah.
against wait, how old is DeSantis? He's like 50, isn't he? Do we
Oh
have this
man.
discussion?
Mm-mm.
DeSantis. Yeah, DeSantis is 44 years old. Could you
What?
imagine
He's a
having
year older than me.
Yeah.
Nope, I don't trust him.
Like, could you
Could
imagine?
you imagine being president of the United States?
No, I personally cannot. But could you imagine having a 44-year-old president? That would be dope. How old was Obama when he got elected? How old
I think he was in his 50s.
was
I wanna
Obama when he became
say.
president? Obama was 47 years old
Oh shit.
when he became president.
What if
Bill
what
Clinton
yeah?
was 46 when he became president.
It's weird how the best presidents we've had were just young dudes and
We're
not
not
geriatrics.
fucking crazy old.
Yeah, it's wild how we like look at Obama as the best orator, and it's just because he wasn't 80 years old. He was just like still had his mental faculties about him that he could like make sentences on the
Dude,
fly.
oldest presidents at inauguration. Number
Yeah.
1, Joe Biden, dog shit president. Number 2, Donald Trump, dog shit president.
Yeah.
Number 3, Ronald Reagan, dog shit president. And then a bunch of fucking no names. William Henry Harrison, who the fuck was that? James
I don't know.
Buchanan. George H.W. Bush, dog shit president.
Wait, he was that old? How old was he?
He was 64.
In his second term?
No, his first term. That was that.
Or is that senior Bush?
No, that's Bush. Oh no, you're right. That's senior Bush.
Okay.
W was 54.
I was gonna say because W did not look that old.
The youngest.
Yeah.
John F. Kennedy.
Hunk.
Great president. Bill Clinton.
Okay. Yeah.
Bill Clinton. I don't know.
How old
He
was
was alright.
JFK?
JFK was 43 years old. JFK was the same age as you.
If I had rich parents,
if only you came from
and ties to the mob and decades of underground conspiracy at my back, I could have been
and the Skull and Bones, Society, and coming from a large political dynasty.
You know what? You know why JFK was the best of both worlds? Was because he was young and handsome, but he got totally fucked in World War II and had like a destroyed back. So he was like an old man because every time he moved, he was like, ah.
That was why he got. That was how he got the boomer, whatever the boomers were back when boomers were.
They just like, he had a hot mic on one time and he's like, my back hurts. And like, that's my guy.
Finally, someone who understands what we're going through. Wait, what else? Okay, so
moving along in June. Oh wait, are we still talking about presidents?
Fuck, was that the first thing? No, we're done. And we thought air travel was hell in summer. LOL. Was air travel bad in summer? Was there something that happened?
That was when all the COVID lockdowns ended and everybody's like, well, I'm fucking flying.
Yeah.
And then we're
just fucking going places.
They bum rushed the airports and everything.
Airports got fucked. And then now airports have kind of been like, or airlines have been, there's like a steady, again, with the Overton window, it's like airlines were fucking dog shit before. And now they're even shittier. They're shittier now in a way that makes me pine for the way they were shitty before, where it's like, oh, they're just going to fucking like overcharge me and I'm going to have to wait 2 hours to talk to someone. And I'm going to have to fucking, my 1 in 10 flights will be canceled. And now it's like, if I get from where I am to where I want to go for less than $1,000 and less than 48 hours travel time, it's a fucking miracle, and I'm happy with it. Like that's basically where airlines are now. So
yeah,
we appreciate that.
dude. Like in the last couple days, because Andrea, full disclosure, Andrea's parents were here 12 days total. They were here an extra whole week because of the snowstorm screwed up their WestJet flights, and so much shit got canceled that it took them 7 days to get them rescheduled and stuff. But my brother, he was flying from the Nanaimo to Calgary, and he got delayed a couple hours or whatever, so he's complaining. But my whole claim to fame this whole time is I haven't traveled since before COVID. Like 2 years before COVID was the last time I took a flight. And now I'm scared because it just seems like it's a completely different process. And I hated it back then.
You know,
And so I don't even know if I'll be able to handle it now.
I will say I did a not insubstantial amount of traveling during COVID, because Kate was living in the States and I was going to see her lots, and then still traveling like a little bit for work, and then we took our honeymoon to Italy, and like it was, especially like the early days where COVID was just happening and like everything was fucking locked down. Those like the first like probably the first year of COVID, like flying was the most fucking wonderful experience. Like it was just like nothing will ever. You would like walk into an airport like half an hour before your flight, and you would just stroll through security because there was no one else there, and you would get like on every flight I flew on, I got like an automatic upgrade to first class or business class because there was no one else on the plane, and it was just like it was beautiful. And now people have gone and fucked the whole thing up again, and nothing will ever compare to that. Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Oh, it's, to me, it just seems like they put wings on Greyhounds, because the way everybody complains about flying is what it was used to be like to take a Greyhound.
Yeah. That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
Just with more expensive food.
Oh yeah, you're reading. Sorry.
Crypto
Shut the bed again.
has had a fucking shitty year. There's been a number of like really high profile crypto exchange collapses.
That's coming up.
Well, we'll talk about that one, but also in June there were two big ones that went under.
Oh, were there?
Yeah, Celsius Network was one, and Luna, I want to say, was the other one.
Luna was a coin though, wasn't it, or was it an exchange?
Luna was a coin. Luna was a token made by an exchange.
Okay.
And that was also when what was that? Three Arrows Capital was the like crypto VC fund that also just fucking like exploded overnight. And every time one of these happens, it kicks the shit out of Bitcoin, and I think scares off a few more of the like, you know, you have like the hardcore Bitcoin guys who will like never fucking, did I say Bitcoin? Anyway.
Heard Bitcoin.
You have the hardcore Bitcoin guys who just like want to break free from cash, and like they're paranoid survivalists, and they don't want the government to have any insight into their money. And then you have like plebs like you and I who are like, I have no fucking idea how any of this works, but I think there's a chance I might make money on it, so I'm gonna put money into it. And I think that's where the vast majority of people lie. And every time one of these crypto exchanges has flamed out, it's scared a few more people away. I like to kind of go and like doom porn whenever one of these exchanges collapses.
Yeah.
You go to their like specific subreddit, and you just like read people being like, oh my fucking God, I lost, like, my wife doesn't know I put up our house for collateral and invested it all in this. And like, now we're going to lose our home, and I invested my kids' college funds in this. And just like, it's like super dark. And then there's some people who are like, you can tell they're like taking the hopium because they're like, you know, guys, maybe we'll get our money back. Meanwhile, they're like declaring bankruptcy and like shitting the bed. So it's, you know, I think Bitcoin's going to have a very fucking rough climb out of this.
Yeah. It from November 2021 was the high. And from then to June, it dropped like 2/3 or something, or 2/3 of it went away.
what is it now? So if we look, holy shit, it just shit its pants again today.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's looking okay. So what are we looking at here? Year to date. So it started at, this is Canadian dollars.
Yeah.
Started at $60,000
A
in
Bitcoin?
a single Bitcoin was 60,000 Canadian dollars.
Yeah.
And today it is $22,000.
Yeah, so it went
Not
down.
great.
It's a third of what it was.
It's lost. Yeah, it's basically lost 60
Yikes.
something percent. So, you know,
That's no good.
not good. Not, wait, what the fuck? Oh, wait, what the fuck? Oh no,
What?
that's why it
What?
changed my chart. Anyway, good luck to all you Bitcoiners out there. Also in June, this is really the feel good story of the year for me, when the Supreme Court, in the thing that the liberals had all said that they were terrified would actually happen. And everyone was like, no, you're just fucking being paranoid. There's no way the Supreme Court's going to do that. All the rational centrists like me were like, that's not going to fucking happen. The Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade, and abortion is now, well, it's not illegal. They just left it up to the states to
The
to
Cliff
decide.
Notes is Roe v. Wade made it a federal thing where it's federally they said you had to allow people to get abortions, and then when they overturned it, they left it up to the states to vote on what they wanted to do with their abortion rights.
Yeah,
And it was terrible. And
and it was
everybody, yeah.
terrible, and everyone lost their shit.
And then everybody was like, "Why would the Republicans do this?" And yeah,
well,
to
and
me, it seems like political suicide.
it definitely was, which is something that was kind of proven out in the midterm elections, which I'm sure we'll also discuss, that were like probably the most easily winnable election, because you have a pretty much universally disliked president. Inflation is at an all-time high, and the Democrats still managed. Like the forecast was that Democrats would just like lose control of the House and the Senate. And the Democrats actually managed to gain ground in an election that they should have fucking lost. And a lot of it had to do with the
Roe v. Wade.
The Roe v. Wade. Yeah,
100%. It was just like the Roe v. Wade. Like they were saying a red wave was coming, and then they were just like, yeah, people are over Roe v. Wade. They're going to back the Republicans, and everyone's like, yeah, no, we're not. We're not okay with that.
Well, like a surprising thing that's happened since then is that a number of states have had referendums on whether abortion should be banned or not. And even some of the ones where you would think it would be a slam dunk, when they open it up to the public, the public does not support an abortion ban for the most part.
Yeah, the first one was Kansas. I was just trying to look up when that happened, because that comes up later in these. Whatever, we'll get to it. But the first one that said we're keeping abortion or abortion legal was Kansas.
Yeah. And then the good news of the month of June, a bipartisan group of 20 senators announced a breakthrough agreement on gun violence. And as we all know,
they've stopped all the shootings.
They've solved gun violence. Yeah, there has not been a single mass shooting in America since June.
Do you want me to go through the points
that accurate?
on this? Yeah.
Is that
accurate? Do you
accurate?
want me to go through the points of this agreement?
Yeah, sure.
I have it open.
Yeah.
So there's funding to help states pass and implement red flag laws, billions in funding for mental health and school safety, including a national build-out community mental health clinics, closing the boyfriend loophole so nobody convicted of domestic abuse can purchase a gun, the first ever federal law against gun trafficking, which I feel like there should have been one before that, enhanced background checks for gun buyers under 21 years old and only allowing them to purchase the gun once it's completed, which should have already been in place, clarifying laws around licensed gun dealer registration to make sure all truly commercial sellers are doing background checks. All of these seem like they should have already been in play. And I'm surprised they weren't, but I'm
Yeah,
a
well, that's
Canadian.
that's the impact of the gun lobby convincing people that like any rational measures were basically like the government coming to steal your guns right out of your hands. And they were really successful at doing that for a really long time until, I mean, they're still very successful at it because this is just like a drop in the bucket in the grand scheme of things. But, definitely some steps there. Yeah.
All right, so we're all the way through. That took us an hour, almost an hour and a half, to get through 6 months.
Yeah.
We're
God
so
damn.
good at this. And to think we wanted to add on more.
We were like, hey, we can fit in more shit here.
Yeah, this was me paring it down to like point form.
Yeah, and thanks to you, Dale, for assembling our.
I am pretty great.
You have your moments, and thank you, Internet, for spending another wonderful year with us. It was another year where I was absent for half of it, but Dale and a rotating cast of guests.
Hey, you had a preemie baby, and I guess the best part of this year is your preemie baby is healthy and strong and normal baby size now.
He's doing great. He looks like an actual ass baby. So
nice.
For all the fun that, and he's got a little baby friend on the way to do baby shit with. I don't know. I don't know what babies do. So thank you, Internet, for spending at least part of your 2022 with us. We will continue this into 2023 and do part 2 of this episode then, and then maybe we'll do a I don't even know.
Yeah, because we were talking about this
predictions episode.
This was more of a news centric breakdown of the year. We could do, I don't know. It seems like it would be too hard to recall what was like the most outragey social media things to do, but whatever.
Yeah, I was just hoping I could there was an article that existed that would talk about it, but that's not. That doesn't exist.
But it's like just with this Washington or the whatever one I copied, Wall Street Journal. Why was I saying what? Anyways, the Wall Street Journal, it missed a whole bunch of stuff that I thought would for sure be on there. But oh well. We'll talk about. Yeah, we could do predictions. Ooh, everybody send in your predictions. Either comment on this video if you're watching this on YouTube, or send an email to at outragefactpod@gmail.com,
or tweet at myself at herder or at Dale.
Yeah, tweet at me at SuperDalebot or the Outrage Twitter at OutrageFactPod.
At OutrageFactPod, or leave your prediction as a review wherever you get your podcasts. Just throw a big old 5-star on there so that we know it's your prediction. So give us 5 stars and then put what your prediction is underneath the 5 stars, and we'll read it on air. But you got to do 5 stars. Otherwise, how are we supposed to know that's your prediction?
Yeah, we'll just think that that's something else. We'll be like 3 stars. Well, this isn't a prediction. This is just somebody who.
This is just some fucking tasteless shitbag fucking sharing their dumb idiot opinions about our wonderful podcast.
Right. This is just the legacy media trying to hold down the upstart podcast.
They're trying to censor us.
This is the global elites.
I wonder if we took that angle, how much more popular, because it seems like if you want to get popular right now, all you have to do is be like, the media is trying to suppress us. The government doesn't want you to hear this.
We would have to relaunch, because if we were dangerous. If all of a sudden 2020 or 228, our next episode, we were just like alt-right, people would be like, oh yeah, this is what I like. And then they'd go back to when we were talking about taking a shit behind a tree or whatever in our old podcast. They'd be like, what is this? So if we had a complete new podcast,
the government,
that would work.
Yeah. Well, come on. Is there anything more right-wing than shitting behind a tree, Dale? It's getting back to our manly. We should talk. I bet Andrew Tate shits behind trees.
Oh, dude, I bet that guy builds trees out of shit.
It just shits entire trees. All right. Anything else you want to add?
No, thanks. Yeah, like Derek said, thank you for listening to us. I know we have at least one or two fans out there, and thank you for
At
spending your
least.
ear time with us and letting us get in your ear holes.
Yeah, thanks for letting us. Thanks for. I'm not going to take it there. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in, and until next year.
Stay angry.